Hey everybody, this is A7X Fan Ben back with another suggested video. Naderbon asks, what about strat guides? So, meaning strategy guides. That's something I may cover in more detail, or more specifically in later videos, but for now I'm going to go on one of these later comments, good game modes. So, by that they meant like deathmatch or get all the gold, stuff like that. So, in my opinion, there's three main game modes that I know of or that I'm used to playing, and they're basically a standard game where you try to get all the gold. So that's what most people play. You have a build total like 40 points or 100 or whatever, and then whoever has the most gold at the end of the game wins. And another game mode would be deathmatch play, where you basically, it's just a war where you try to knock out all of your opposing ships on the ocean. So basically just go until one fleet is totally eliminated, or in multiplayer until only one fleet is left afloat, and then they're the winner. So it's basically just a deathmatch scenario where it's a battle or a war, until there's only one player remaining. And then the third one, in my opinion, is a campaign game where instead of whoever gets the most gold wins, you basically spend gold or resources to buy new ships and crew, which are added to your fleet. Then your fleet expands with as the game goes on, and it's still last fleet afloat wins, but instead of just having a war, it's kind of a mix of the two styles, and it's also, in my opinion, the most epic, so to speak, because the game could go on for months or years theoretically, or even weeks would be kind of a long game, of course. So campaign games are my favorite, but I'm going to go over each of the three in short detail here. And I think Game Ideas is once again a good reference. I'll link to it in the description. There's going to be a bunch of stuff in the description of this video as well as some of the recent ones. Game Ideas is a good thread. I compiled a lot of ideas by other players and put them all in one thread. So scenarios is basically a way to kind of modify any of the game modes. So a scenario could be like Circle of Blood, that's like get the most gold, but then you have like special rules associated with it. Same with Waterworld, for example. Those are both good ones I've played. And then the St. Helens, Defense of St. Helens is one on Deviant Art that I've played before. I'll try to link to that. And I actually made a Vassal Ocean that I can try to link to as well for you to download if you want to try it out on Vassal. I made a map for it. This is like a deathmatch game mode. It's like an invasion style scenario. So basically, you have to break through the defending forts and fleets, and then there's like icebergs that function as gates. Then you try to get to the other side. So it's kind of an alternate deathmatch scenario. And then, of course, campaign games. There's a bunch of those. I've played a bunch of them, a bunch of the different rule sets, and there's a couple going on right now, and you can see links to the different rule sets in the Game Ideas thread. In terms of strategy, though, I would say in terms of getting the most gold, this one is kind of obvious. I'll put a link to the top 10 gold runners in the game, in my opinion here. I made a thread about that. So if you want to win those games, there's certain strategies that are almost foolproof that can really work extremely well. One of them is the universal pirate shipping strategy, which was invented by Darren, and it's been continued by Xerix and myself in Vassal tournaments number 1 and 2. And it uses Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean set, so you can basically teleport gold home. It's extremely overpowered, so I would caution against using it if your playgroup is more casual. But if you're competitive and you want to win gold games, these ships are some of the best ever. So Banshee's Cry, Santa Isabel is fantastic. Some of these are good hybrid ships too. So American Native Canoes are great. And then there's a bunch of honorable mentions down there too. So, and then other people commented in, they chimed in on the thread as well. So you can get a mix of opinions there. Deathmatch, of course, you want to have the best gunships, and El Acorazado is at the top of that list, along with the Constitution from Revolution, and the Endeavor, which is another fantastic gunship, all kind of similar in some ways. And then there's a bunch of other great ships in this thread, even more so, even more, I think, than the Gold Runner thread. So in deathmatch play, this is a good list to look at. In terms of strategy, there's various things you can do. but I'll probably get into that in a later video on death matches specifically, if I cover it at least. And then campaign games, like I said, are my favorite, but you really need a lot of passion and a lot of time to play them to completion and to do them justice. So just know what you're getting into. And I also have a guide to huge games thread, which I can link to as well. And then I put this last tab up just to remind myself. I've been forgetting to ask questions of the day in the actual video. I put it in the description after, but this is kind of just to remind myself. So what is your favorite game mode? Do you like get the most gold, deathmatch, or campaign games? Or a different game mode I didn't mention if I forgot any, or if there's, I don't know, kind of alternates on the ones I mentioned. What's your favorite? So thanks for watching, and I'll definitely be back soon with more videos.